Teachers of Reddit, what is the most depressing thing your kids have said? Student, Mary won't be here today, her mom died last night. Wait, didn't her dad pass away a few weeks ago? Student, yes, both parents died suddenly within a few weeks of each other from different medical conditions. My mother was a teacher for nearly 30 years. She spent the last 10 years at a middle school that was pretty hard up in the Tulsa public school system. She had a very good student who came to school every day in the same clothing. We can call him Jay. The clothing was always washed, but even so, around halfway through the year, his clothing was becoming tattered and stained. The other students began to notice and make comments. The school tried to give him clothing, but he refused. He would not accept a handout. A few teachers came up with a plan for the school, put on a contest where the winner was given some new, very nice, school clothing. This contest was set up for Jay to win. This way he could have new clothing and not feel as though he was given anything. Jay won the contest. He accepted the new clothing gladly. The next day he was still wearing his old clothes. My mom asked him why he was not wearing the new clothing. "Those are my trophies. I have them hanging on my wall." Rips my heart right out of my chest. My sister didn't wake up today. Her sister complained of headaches the night before because she hit her head. Parents didn't think anything was seriously wrong. They took her off life support a few days later. She was 9. Her sister? 5 years old. Assignment was to write a poem about something you like to pretend. Student's poem started, "I like to pretend that I have friends." This was in 1st grade. Ask for help how to get over her laziness. She was getting regular migraines, so would have to hide and sleep it off. Due to her parents, she learned that this was laziness. Principal, to class on day 1, kindergarten is not like preschool. Attendance matters. It's very important that you be here every day. Kindergartner, what if you have to get a blood transfusion? Can you be my mom? 15 years old, totally serious, this is my real family. Different student referring to the teachers and friends at school, I don't deserve this. Teen, when given a sweater on a very cold day, I hear a lot of this stuff. I wish there was so much more I could do. A couple in the running. My boyfriend was shot in front of me and died in my arms. The ambulance we called never arrived. Mom went to go stay with my older sister, 3 states away, for a while. She told me I'm in charge of his twin 15-year-old brother, and we need to make sure we stay at specific shelter. She never came back. A visibly sick student in class, mom said she's working, and I tried to call my dad. He hung up on me. He doesn't care about me anyways. On the first day of school, and the first day of my career, how was your morning? Dude took 2 to the chest on his front porch on my way to school. Don't worry though, I didn't see his face. What are we doing today? Why should I even try? I'm just stupid anyway. He has a learning disability and has a hard time with reading, and that's not to mention his ADHD with odd. He sees a therapist every week and is way better. This trickles down to just about every subject he has. It broke my heart when he said that. Me, so, what are you most looking forward to when you go to college? Student, oh, I've never had my own bed to sleep in before. Me, frown. One of my students who was always in a good mood came into the class looking very down. She was not acting her usual self. I had to get onto her several times for being on her phone. Again, very unlike her. She asked if she could speak to me in the hallway. Kid, I'm sorry for being in such a bad mood today. Can I tell you why? Me, of course. Kid, proceeds to take her cardigan off. She had a tank top on underneath, and showed me welts that she had gotten the night before from her mother beating her with an electric cord. She says, "My mother beat me for no reason last night and I don't know what to do." Sadly, it was not the first time I had to report. Edit, I didn't expect this comment to blow up. Lots of questions, but long story short, there was a happy ending. She got to move with her father, much better situation, who lived about an hour and a half away. She was able to finish the school year with us. Her dad would drive her that long distance every morning, and the next school year, she started at her new school. The abuse had been going on for a while. She was an only child. I taught high school freshmen, so she was 14. The day after she told me, she came to my classroom during my conference period and hugged me for a very long time. Thank you everyone for your comments, and to the kind stranger who gave me a silver. Student, I want to play with my friend today, but her dad died, so she can't come over. Me, oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Student: yeah, my mom said God is punishing her. I explained that God does not punish people like that and it is not her friend's fault that her dad passed away. A 6-year-old preschool kid took my hand and wanted to show me something he had drawn. The drawing was in dark colors and sort of angry looking. He explained that he had drawn his heart, which was broken and hurting very bad. He said it wasn't any fun when his heart hurt like that. He was often being excluded from the group by his classmates, sometimes even bullied. He didn't have the social skills to communicate well with his friends, which led to him being very misunderstood even though he always meant well. Miss, how come you didn't have any kids? I didn't want any. But you're gonna die alone. Nothing like a 9-year-old throwing your greatest fear right in your face. I had a 16-year-old student say, I heard my parents fighting downstairs last night. My 10-year-old brother came into my room and got into bed with me crying, because he's just now realizing we don't have a normal family. I teach pretty much exclusively college freshmen and by that point they all have that fatalistic sense of humor anyway, but it gets real sad when they get to the end of their rope. Nothing specific that I can remember, but a lot of why I think I could make it in college. I'm too stupid for this, I should drop out, and they actually mean it. Stuff like that. Monday however, a student asked to talk to me before class and said, I know this paper is important and all and I don't want you to hate me, but I couldn't get my paper done. And I'm used to this sort of thing, I mean, it's just natural. But then he take a deep breath and blurts out, my dad called me last night and told me he was leaving my mom and moving away, so he's leaving me too, and I just couldn't deal with it. I'm really sorry if you're mad at me. It just hits me hard when they have to deal with more than they should, and on top of that they think I've formed a personal opinion of them and that I'm going to think badly of them based on something like this. I ran holiday science workshops, filled with brainy kids as you'd expect. There was an 11-year-old girl who was brilliant at everything. The content was clearly beneath her. Very quiet, respectful, well-liked by the other kids. Her parents were moving soon because she received scholarships to a prestigious school. Whenever her dad came to pick her up he was obviously proud, telling me about all her achievements, how she was in advanced classes, just won all these sports awards too, etc. Showed videos and photos of her winning all these soccer games. They enrolled her younger brother in similar sessions. He gave it a go in the first few but really struggled, always the last to finish, and felt his work didn't look as good as the others. Looked embarrassed to ask for help. He screamed at his sister when she tried to fix his circuit. Eventually he just began acting out, putting off the work, challenging me to get a laugh out of the other kids, messing around. After a disastrous month he stopped trying altogether. He just came in one afternoon and sat there, not doing anything. I tried to engage him in the activity and said if he didn't like what the other kids are doing, we could pick anything else he wanted to do. He said something like, "What's the point? My parents will never love me as much as they love my sister." I've had a lot, but one morning 2 students came in early to my room and asked if they could use my student computer. I said sure, and figured that they just needed to finish a project and knew I always got to school early. Nope. Turns out their best friend was murdered 2 days before because he wouldn't give his money he earned to someone trying to rob him. His family needed the money to not be homeless, so he died trying to look out for his family, and for like $80 or something. My students were creating flyers and a GoFundMe so they could try to help the parents not be homeless, and to afford a funeral. To make matters worse, the kid was murdered on a Saturday. He was left to bleed out and die, to be found the next morning. The fucking murderer came to my school on Monday as if nothing had happened. Cops pulled him out of the class in the middle of the day once they had figured out it was him. Not a teacher, but a counselor for kids in the foster program. Kid: why does everyone else in my class have one dad but I have different ones all the time? Foster program can be really tough on kids. Miss Spidey, do you know how to get local electric company to turn your power back on? I get paid today, but they pay me on a card, so do I get out cash and get a money order, and where do I take it to? Kid was 16. But kid got their power turned back on, that day, all by themselves. I didn't do spit or biscuits but teach them how to talk to people in call centers and make the introduction to the CSR. And then later their power bill got reduced, because the school social worker has programs for that sort of thing. The local power company sent them some energy-saving free stuff, including some light bulbs. Kid and their siblings had been short some lights at home for a while, and we got their water and sewer discounted as well. School social worker's a pal. Their surviving parent was trying. It's just hard with a parent of their own who isn't well, that many kids and 2 fast food jobs. Kid is in college now. Damn near full ride. Commutes from home to save money, puts their housing stipend towards the family rent, utilities and gas for their own old Toyota. Their parent looks like they just took their first breath in 10 years. I'm proud of all my students, but especially that one. Middle school, they went on a field trip yesterday and one kid was sad because they wouldn't be at school so he wouldn't get lunch. They were fed at the field trip, but he was totally concerned that he wasn't going to get fed that day.